humpback whale disappears beneath a patch of prey. Then air begins rising, not as random bubbles, but as a sequence of connected rings. A pale spiral forms at the surface. Seconds later, a whale charges through the center with its mouth open. In 2024, researchers showed this is not simply a fixed trick. These whales changed the number of rings, the net size and depth, and even the spacing between individual bubbles. They were shaping air into a temporary hunting tool. But prey can move through bubbles, so how can a net with no solid walls work at all? Humpbacks feed on small schooling fish and tiny crustaceans such as krill. The whale is enormous, but each prey animal is not. It cannot make a meal by chasing them one at a time. Instead, a humpback filter feeds. Its mouth collects a vast volume of water while baleen retains the food. But a large mouthful only pays when enough prey is concentrated inside it. Swimming through nearly empty water would collect nearly empty water. So before this whale takes a bite, it changes the distribution of the prey. And the raw material for that transformation is something it already carries: air. The whale moves beneath the prey and releases air while following a curved path. As those bubbles rise, they form vertical curtains through the water. NOAA describes those curtains as condensing prey into a tighter group. The solitary whales, studied in Southeast Alaska, did something more precise than blowing one large circle. Their nets contained internally tangent rings, a series of circles arranged within the larger structure. From above, the result resembles a spiral or nested loops. The whale can change ring count, total width, construction depth, and the distance between neighboring bubbles. Once the prey has been concentrated, the whale turns upward, accelerates, and lunges through the center. The surface eruption is only the final move. Most of the engineering happened where we could not see it. A ring at the surface cannot reveal everything the whale did below, so researchers combined two perspectives. Drones recorded the nets from overhead. Animal-borne tags recorded the whale's movement beneath the surface. Together, those views connected the geometry of each net with the dive and lunge that produced it. The nets were not identical templates. The researchers found active control over ring count, total size, construction depth, and horizontal bubble spacing. Then came the result that changes this from an interesting behavior into a remarkable feeding system. In that study, concentrating krill increased estimated prey intake per lunge by an average of about 7 times. The team also examined breath rate, swimming, and lunge motion. Within those measurements, the larger payoff did not come with higher energetic expenditure. The whale was not simply working 7 times harder. It was changing the conditions of the hunt. This net is not a cage. A fish or krill can physically cross a line of bubbles. The precise claim is that the curtains condense the prey, changing its distribution long enough for the whale to exploit it. Think of the structure as a temporary corral rather than a wall. Net diameter changes the area available to the prey. Ring number and bubble spacing change the structure of that corral. Construction depth changes how much water the bubbles cross before reaching the surface. That is why control matters. A fixed stream would create the same shape every time. These whales modify several parts of the structure before lunging. The tool is not merely the air. The tool is the arrangement. The solitary krill-feeding whales in the 2024 study are only one version of this behavior. NOAA has also documented group-coordinated bubble net feeding. In group hunts, several whales help concentrate schooling prey and then surge toward the surface together. NOAA researchers have observed groups producing bubbles and calls while spiraling upward before a coordinated lunge. Humpbacks can also use sounds, the seafloor, and even their long pectoral fins to herd prey. A 2025 study found that those unusually large fins help generate the tight, sustained turns used during solitary bubble net feeding. Different populations use different bubble structures, with evidence of regional specialization. That does not prove every group teaches the behavior in the same way. It demonstrates flexibility. The ocean changes, the prey changes, and the behavior changes with them. Calling this a tool is a scientific interpretation, not just a dramatic nickname. The study's authors argue that humpbacks manufacture and modify bubble nets to manipulate prey. The material begins inside the whale's lungs. Once released, it becomes an external structure arranged in the environment. The whale controls that structure, uses it during a task, and then builds another one for the next attempt. Unlike a stick or stone, a bubble net cannot be carried away. It rises, disperses, and disappears. Every useful structure must be created during the hunt. Its value lies in a repeatable process. Descend beneath the prey, shape the bubble field, concentrate the target, and arrive below the densest point. The study does not show that every ring is perfect or every attempt succeeds. It shows something more useful. Humpbacks can adjust the geometry of a structure that increases feeding efficiency. Now a surface spiral looks different. It is not random foam. It is the visible edge of work already completed below. The whale has taken prey too diffuse for an efficient mouthful and changed their distribution before opening its jaws. The lunge is not the whole hunt. It is the payoff. A humpback carries no rope, throws no mesh, and leaves no tool behind. It brings the material in its lungs, builds the net in moving water, and lets the ocean erase it when the hunt is over. A humpback turns air into a hunting tool. A bat does something just as strange. It turns echoes into a map. Watch the bat video on screen to follow one hunt from its first sonar pulse to the final feeding buzz. And subscribe to Animal Fact Lab for more real animal abilities explained from the inside out.